So although the sun's come out now, it has been the most vile day ever weather-wise. I don't think I've seen so much rain for a good 6-7 weeks. So I thought, let's try and cheer everyone up and let's make some crispy cakes. I haven't made crispy cakes in years, and I thought, you know what? Chocolate, syrup, butter, what isn't to love? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put into a heat-proof bowl, so something that can go on the heat in a saucepan in a minute. 55 grams of butter. Oh, look at this, it's messing me around now. There it is. 55 grams of butter. Obviously I've washed my hands and sprayed my surfaces down beforehand, so that's 55 grams there. Oh, just to say to you, I've got 12 cake cases in a tin. It's not going to go into the oven at all, but it's just that they help to hold the shape of the cakes for you when you put them in, the crispy cakes in there. But for now, they're just in there ready to go when I need them. So 55 grams of butter. Then you want to break up a bar of chocolate. You could use milk, you could use plain. Plain chocolate tends to, for me, work better when I cook with it. And this is literally one of the cheap bars of chocolate that you get from the supermarket that are about 30p a bar. They are perfect for this kind of job. And I like my chocolate, so if it was worth using a decent bar of chocolate, I would tell you. You then want 4 tablespoons of golden syrup. Golden syrup is notoriously difficult to measure because it sticks to the spoon. So I'm going to be a little bit what looks generous, but because some of it's stuck to the spoon before I put the second tablespoon in, I'm going to add a little bit more. So that's 2 tablespoons nearly. I'm going to open the other jar of syrup. And so that's 3. That's a generous third one because I know that I've still got some golden syrup remaining in there from the previous spoon. So that's around about 4 tablespoons of golden syrup. Now we're going to do a bain-marie here and melt this chocolate. If we were to put the chocolate directly into the pan, it could seize. I don't know if you've ever had chocolate go grainy on you when you try and cook with it. That's why if you end up getting it too hot, it will go grainy. I'm going to put that into the wash. Take this bowl, and I need to get a saucepan that will fit this in it, but if I could look inside, this heat-proof dish only comes down to about here. I don't want the glass bowl touching the bottom of the saucepan. I'm then going to put in some boiling water. I've put about 1 centimetre of boiling water in, and I'm going to put this on the heat. I'm going to put it on quite a low heat because what I want to do, lid's going to go on, so the dish is going to go on. I don't want the water in there to boil particularly, but I want it to be hot enough to create some steam so that the heat will be transferred to this glass dish so that it will melt the chocolate, the butter and the syrup together. So I'm just going to let it have just a moment or two while the heat gets in there, and then everything will start to melt. So if I pause it here, and I'll ask you to come back in a moment. Okay. So I've got my saucepan here, which has the water's come to the boil in the saucepan. I don't want it to be touching the chocolate, so I'm actually going to turn that off and just let the residual heat from the pan and the steam that's just going to be created from the water in the bottom there just melt the rest of that butter. It should only take a couple of minutes, but this will make sure that my chocolate doesn't seize, which means I don't get any lumpy bits in my chocolate. Now the next thing you'll need is some sort of breakfast cereal. I happen to have Rice Krispies that have been open for a week or two that definitely need using up before they go soft. Now the recipe that I used, and I mean this is years that I've been using this recipe, says 70 grams of cornflakes. I have never made this recipe, I don't think, with cornflakes. I've always used Rice Krispies because it seems to be what we have in. And I vaguely remember that I use more than 70 grams. So to start me off today, I've got 108 grams because that was just what happened to be left in the Rice Krispies. So it's a bit of a add 70 grams and see moment. It might be that there's enough in there. It might be you need to add a little bit more. I always think if you add a bit more Rice Krispies, there's possibly another Rice Krispie cake in the offing, which usually is a nice thing. This is nicely mixed together now. I've just got one little lump of butter there that I'm just going to take in and make sure that melts. But nice and smooth, no lumps, which is what we're after. Now because that bowl, the glass bowl, the heatproof bowl, is now hot and it's got some steam which is condensed into water on the bottom of it, just going to put a heatproof mat down where I'm working, and I'll ask you to rejoin me when I've moved this over. Obviously this is hot, so if you want to use oven gloves here, that would be very sensible. So the mixture then, I've moved it over here safely. Like I say, it is hot. Please do use oven gloves to move it over there. That's not a problem. And I've got it on some sort of heat-proof mat, so one, it doesn't mark any surfaces, and two, to absorb that little bit of water that's come out. So this is my 108 grams randomly. Like I said, that was what was left in the pack of Rice Krispies. And I start off by adding an amount of them, very exact here, and stirring this in. And what I'm looking for is for all of the Rice Krispies to be coated. I'm fighting a losing battle because they will just keep escaping. So I can see that I've still got quite a lot of liquid in there which isn't covering. So there's too much liquid at the moment. I'm going to add in the next little bit of my Rice Krispies. Again, stir these in. Again, get frustrated because they fall out the sides, and I like things to be neat and tidy, and that isn't going to happen here. And again, you can see there's still quite a lot of chocolate mix that hasn't got the excess to the Rice Krispies. So I'm going to put in the remainder of this. So I reckon probably about 100 grams of Rice Krispies. Going to stir this in, and then the next job, once every Rice Krispie has been coated in the chocolate and butter and syrup mix, is to put it into the cake cases. Once they've cooled down, you're then going to put them into the fridge for about an hour, which will make the chocolate mixture go a little bit solid. It doesn't go completely solid, it's quite a nice, soft, runny mixture, this one. So these are going to go in about a tablespoon at a time. Could use an ice cream scoop to get equal measurement on that. And when you've done all 12 cases, then you're going to let them cool down, put them in the fridge for about an hour, and then they should be ready to enjoy. Hope you like these ones. So I've managed to put these into their paper cases. It's a bit of a messy job, but I'm sure if you've got children, they'll probably quite enjoy doing that little bit themselves. So I put into the 12 cake cases that you saw that I had ready. What was really nice was that there was another 8 cupcake cases worth of mixture. So there's going to be 12 plus 8, so 20 cakes out of this one batch. So just to remind you then, I've used about 110 grams of Rice Krispies. That seemed to be about right for this recipe. They recommend 70 grams of cornflakes if you're using cornflakes, but you might find that that's too little as well. These now don't get cooked or anything. They are no cook cakes. You're just going to put them into the fridge for about an hour. They'll chill down and be ready to eat. I am sure that they won't last long, especially in this horrible weather when we all want a bit of cheering up. Thank you ever so much.